I did my audio check.
As did I.
All right. So, and I'm starting this time, you said, right?
Yes.
All right. Now that your background, just curious, that's the hotel's artwork behind you, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's just the spot above the bed.
Oh, okay.
It looks nice. It's a decent backdrop.
Yeah. Better than mine. All right. So, I still have. I just want to look over your topics. You're still doing your blog, right, Brian?
Oh yes, daily. Hey. Let's see. Yesterday I hit 1,500 posts. That's a
Oh,
lot. That's a lot. Because
congratulations.
it's been like 4 years daily
Well,
for
then
four
not exactly
years.
daily, right?
Wow.
Just, just giving you a hard
I've
time, man.
I've missed like I've missed like 2 days in
No, the math
oh
doesn't add up, man. If you only hit 1,500 now, then you have missed in
no,
four
that's almost
years. You've missed 500 days. No,
no.
300 days. No, okay, I don't know. I'm gonna do the math
I'm not in an exact year. I'm like 4 point something years or three anyway.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to trust you, man. All right.
It's good. You should trust me. Why would you not?
Hey, well, let me see that keyboard you've been building.
Oh yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I want to see that. I got nothing, no super exciting project like you do.
All right. All right. So this is going to be, for the time being, it's just going to be an offhand keyboard. So I will be able to take my left hand and my right hand and put them at whatever comfortable distance I want. My right hand will be on my usual mechanical keyboard, and this one will be off to the side, and I can just put my hands wherever they rest comfortably. This one uses a teensy to emulate a keyboard, and then each of these columns of keys has an IO expander, an MCP 23008 or an MCP 23017. They just use the I2C protocol for anyone who's interested in making their own. I'll also have this on my blog starting tomorrow. I'm going to
Okay.
start with the build process. I've got quite a few blogs built up about how I've gone about this. And so anyone who wants to make their own will be able to do that, and I'll release the code. And there's still a lot of work on it. I mean, it looks pretty rudimentary at this point.
Looks like a keyboard.
Right. I mean, it types. You can totally hear it.
Who is it that was trying to do a single-handed keyboard that we used to talk to a bunch?
That sounds like
Michael.
Doug.
No,
I could see Michael doing that. I could see.
Yeah, he was.
Frank.
It wasn't Michael. It was the Michael that didn't show up a whole lot to the Twin stuff. Younger guy, college kid. But he had one that he was building that he was wrist mounted, so that you just
No, that
wherever your hand is.
was his name wasn't Michael. Gavin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Him and I were working on the same one. He was working on one based on the design for the Spiff quarter, which was, I think, designed by an MIT professor. And he had made it work with Android. He'd made it work with his Google Glass. No, wait, maybe he didn't work for MIT. Maybe he worked for Google. I think he worked for Google. That's why he had Glass. Anyway, I built one of those as well. I helped Galvin with some of the stuff. And I think he actually went through it. And I think he started to learn to use it. And I could not get myself to practice enough. It was a chording keyboard, not
Right.
just an offhanded one. So instead of, for those of you who don't know what a chording keyboard is, if you want to type the letter A, you press a certain combination of your fingers together. You don't just, it's not like a single key per letter. Now these can be super duper fast if you're practiced with them.
But, yeah, it's like what they use in courtrooms for court reporting and stuff. They use some kind of chording keyboard for that.
Yeah, stenography. I think the max on those like 365 words a minute.
Yeah.
That record was set in 2012. I just looked this up. I don't know this. I don't normally have that kind of knowledge off the top of my head.
But I think those stenographers, they're key to do phrases. So it's not just single letters, but common words are certain combinations of those keys.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how they work, but yeah, you can get super fast on those.
Sure. All right. So,
how about you? What you've got some projects going on?
Yeah, well, just my 2 jobs. So I started with Blockpool, that blockchain company, and that is going full steam ahead. So it's taken up all my time. The scope of what I'm doing for Blockpool has changed quite a bit. It started at just doing the service desk and the technical support, but now it's also a whole enterprise platform that I'm helping them deploy. I'm not doing everything, but
it sounds intense.
It's a lot of work, man. Okay, just give me just a moment. I'm ready to start recording whenever you are.
I am ready.
Give me a minute. All right. I think I'm good. And it's shameful I don't have my 2 cyborgs coffee cup or my hoodie on. All right.
I'm a total shell.
All right. So I'm going to count down. Are you ready?
Ready, Freddy.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go. Hello and welcome. My name is Tim Shank.
And I'm Brian McAvoy. This is 2 Cyborgs and a Microphone. This episode, I always say we're doing something a little different, and this episode we're doing something a little different. Instead of blazing forward with our usual topics, we're going to look back on some of the things that we've done, and we're going to give our possibly changed opinions about what we've said about in the past. So we're going to look at some of our old shows, because we've got 46 other shows, and we're going to touch on those because things have changed since then. Technology has evolved since then.
Well, this is going to be interesting for me on a couple of these, because a lot of these, I have the same opinion, but there's a couple that I was, especially cyborg parenting, way off, way off. And anybody would have told me that no, you're never going to do all that, but give it a shot. So, Brian, from my side, your level is pretty low. Is your recording level good enough?
Yeah, recording level. My recording level is pretty good.
Okay. As long as, and I can hear you, I can understand everything you're saying, so I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just broadcasting through this little mic.
Oh.
This is going to the live broadcast. Sorry, everyone on YouTube. And this one is going. I shouldn't tap the mic while I say that. This one is going to be the one recorded and put into our edited show.
Okay. Well, funny thing, the when you raise that microphone up to your mouth, it actually got quieter.
Really? Oh, that must be Google auto-adjusting my levels.
Maybe so. Oh, and you know what? I can turn you up and go, no, you're turned halfway down. All right. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
So, and one of the first things that one of the first things that came to mind when we were talking about which episodes to review was the one we did on blockchain cryptocurrencies.
Right.
Because this is something that I've gotten way deeper into this. So I've been working with a company named Blockpool. It's a London startup that does blockchain. For anybody who happens to be listening to this and who's into cryptocurrency, you'll know that right now it's a real low spot compared to where it has been in the past, because Bitcoin made a really huge rally, got really up there in value, and now it's correcting. So the whole cryptocurrency market is low. But I'm just loving anything blockchain at this point. This company that I'm working with, they're not focusing on the cryptocurrency at all. It's entirely focused on blockchain solutions for businesses. And I think that's where it's going to go. 2018 is going to be huge for anything blockchain, and cryptocurrency comes along with that. So
without divulging any trademark or any secrets, what do you mean like a business solution? Because I think most people see blockchain as something that stores money.
well, you have to look at it in the reason it works for being a form of currency is because it's an indelible can't even say it, Brian.
Indelible?
Indelible. So the thing about that you have to realize about cryptocurrency is the reason it works and the reason blockchain can deliver it is because blockchain is an indelible ledger. It's a database that cannot be changed after the fact. So for a ledger, for something like transactions, you never want that to go away. So blockchain works, but there's so many other uses for a database that cannot be hacked, is co-located across the world, and that never changes. I mean, you can use that for transactions, you can use that for records of ownership, for say real estate, things like that. That's just data that needs to be preserved forever. And when you have that data in, on hosted databases in certain places, you have to trust the people who manage that. And blockchain can work without being trusted because it works on consensus between all of the nodes, all of the different computers that are running the blockchain. They all have to agree, or at least a certain percentage, most of the time 50% or more, have to agree that when a transaction gets put on the blockchain, we all agree that this is supposed to be there and it's going to be there forever.
Gotcha. Okay. So definitely some high security, high value stuff can be put on there.
Sure. And there's all kinds of uses for a distributed database. And actually, these databases run for free. So when you're talking about a business case for it, a database that is hosted all around the world for free, essentially to the business or to the business that's using it, is really valuable. And when I say it's free, it's not really, because the blockchain itself, as the computers process it, the nodes or the miners, or it depends on what kind of chain you're talking about, as those computers process it, they create new tokens, new cryptocurrency, which is the point of the cryptocurrency in a blockchain is to reward the people who host nodes and give them something for doing that.
Very cool. So in a way, it's kind of like torrents, where your reward though for downloading something is that you get a copy of it.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
But I think 2018 is going to be huge for blockchain. You see it everywhere. Even like Kodak, they just mentioned it and said that they're going to try using it for something. It
Hopefully not backing up pictures. That would be silly.
What was that, Brian?
Hopefully they don't use it for backing up pictures. That would be silly.
No, you can't really put anything that's a large amount of data on a blockchain. It slows it down, bloats it. But Kodak said that they were going to use blockchain to manage digital rights, which isn't even possible. But just by saying that, their stock went up like 30% in value in one day. And it was just a publicity thing. So I'm really interested in that. I'm even more interested in it now than I was then, now that I'm working with a blockchain company full time.
For sure. Another topic I wanted. Go ahead.
I was going to see on your list, you wanted to talk about the biocompatible coatings.
Yes. So the last time we talked about those, pretty much we were limited to things like borosilicate glass, Pyrex, titanium, like implant grade titanium, and titanium nitride, which is just an alloy with nickel. Is it nickel? Anyway. And so I've been reading I've been reading the biohack.me forum again. Well, I never really stopped. And a couple of other things that have come up were high density polyethylene and Teflon. Now, Teflon usually has to go on at a very, very high temperature, so it's not the best. And high density polyethylene, I believe, also expects fairly high temperature, but these are both biocompatible for So for some things, these are great. Oh, a couple other ones we talked about last time were Biocompatible Epoxy. I thought there was one other, but they're all listed in the episode, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You actually bought a biocompatible epoxy at one point we were going to use to coat some NFC tags that I have.
Yep. I bought 2 packets of that, and I have since lost them. I have to order some more. I was talking with somebody else on the Biohack Me forum, and we had this idea of some underskin LEDs that would hold their charge with supercapacitors and a coil, so they'd be very simple. They'd be pretty safe even if they were ruptured. And I was like, oh man, I've got this great idea of a process for coating these, with vacuum and very simple parts. And so I went home and I could not find my coating. So I need to order more if I'm going to get anywhere on that project.
Okay. Well, I look forward to doing it. I still have all those NFC tags, so
yeah.
I was actually gonna mention to you, if you have any ideas on, I would like to build, and this is, keep this off the episode, we don't have to talk about this on the air, but I want to build a cryptocurrency hardware wallet on one of these. That one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I want to see if we can build a cryptocurrency wallet on a card, because that would be cool.
Yeah, kind of like handing over your card, but that would be neat.
I think so.
As long as we can get the chip that does that, I don't see why that exact pattern we've got there wouldn't work. We might need some supporting components, but it's not difficult.
Right. Well, let's talk about that again later.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So another thing you have on your list here is RFID for access. And that's something that I haven't really developed at all. I'm still using it. I mean, I get into my house with my RFID chip.
Yep. Yeah. I know you've been featured on the news a couple times for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My low frequency RFID in my left hand, that one gets me into the Minnesota hack space, which is awesome. I first got my RFID just keychain, and they said, okay, here you go. This is how you get in the building after hours. And so I copied that onto my left hand. Great. Then I used that to get into my car, my old car, which has since been sold. And that was great. Then since that episode, I've been living in Reno most of the time. And I joined a hack space out here. And I said, hey, can I get this tag registered with your system so that I can get into the building? And now I'm the first person who can get into the Reno hack space called Bridgewire.
Nice.
Barehanded.
Did you get anybody else interested in one of these implants?
Yeah, 1 or 2 other people. One of them he works for a company out of Minnesota. He said, yeah, I'm swinging through it. It's really cool. And I said, I will take you to my piercer and we will get you an implant if you want it. I'll hold your hand if I want. I'll hold your hand if you want. I don't think he's going to take me up on the hand holding since he's like this 6-foot guy named Viking. He goes by the name Viking. The hand holding was a joke. Unless he wants to. So.
What are the laws what are the laws around implants out there in Reno?
Nope.
You're not allowed.
Nope. In Nevada, you have to be a doctor.
Really? So
that's why. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. The guy coming to Minnesota, that's the chance he has. I think in California there's different laws. Then there it's probably okay, but it's a 2-hour drive to Sacramento.
Okay.
It's
so strange that the laws are so different from one place to another. Even in county to county in Minnesota, I can't get an implant in the county I live in. But if I go one county over, then right there I can do it.
Yep. It's kind of weird. It doesn't make any sense.
A little more freedom in Reno or anywhere in Nevada, I think. I would have expected more freedom for things like body, any kind of body modification.
I mean, I can go get an eighth and a hooker, but I can't get a sterile implant. Anyway, that seems backwards so similar, to me.
Brian. An eighth and a hooker is almost the same thing as getting an implant.
Right?
So one of the things that Yeah. So I'm still big into nootropics. I use them. We've done several episodes. I think it was what I have listed here. 17 episode 7 was episode 17 was nootropics, nugenics, and synaptogenics, and we also did episode 43 on cerebrolysine, and then acetylcholine for focus and memories was episode 17.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing all of that stuff now. Cerebrolysine, that hasn't shown up.
Yeah. Well, we haven't told anyone about that yet.
Yeah, so yeah, we did. We mentioned we did it. We did an episode on it, but we didn't mention we got it.
Yes. We did do an episode on what it does and how excited we did do an episode on what it is and that we were excited about it, but we never told people that we were planning to order our own, which we have. Well,
Which we have. And then it got into the Russian mail system and just vanished. I'm going to pull it up while we're talking. And I'm going to look, and it's going to be on its way.
What a fustercluck.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he said he'd send a new copy. Yeah, it still says it's in the same place. It's gone forever. Probably. So he's going to send a new one. As of today, he said if it didn't exit the Russian postal service by today, then he would send a new one. So
awesome. Yeah, so that's going to be nuts. We're going to get this stuff which is injectable. You've had injectable nootropics in the past, and you said it wasn't your cup of tea. I've never done a self-injection, so I'm probably going to make myself pass out.
Yeah, it takes a level of calm to repeatedly stick yourself, and I don't envy people who have to do it for medical reasons. When I tried it, and I think it was for a mitochondrial thing. It wasn't nootropic. It was maybe it had to do with NAD or NAD plus. That I ordered the NAD or NAD plus, and I tried to inject it. I think I got a week into it, and it just was, just the hesitance to. I mean, even if you're like poking your finger with a needle, back when you were a kid and you did stuff like that, you have that hesitance. It just seems wrong, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're psyching ourselves up.
I'll do it, Brian. I'm on board with this.
Me too. Definitely, 100%. I cannot fail. Happy April Fools. Failure is such an option.
I have my wife. She was in school to be a nurse, so
yeah,
she'll help me if she'll do it if I didn't. And plus she's had when we were having our when she was pregnant with our daughter, she had gestational diabetes, which happens to a decent amount of women, that they are, when they're pregnant, their sugar goes out of whack and they have to, they're basically turned temporarily diabetic. So she got a lot of practice.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad at least one of us will probably make it through. I am 1,700 miles from anyone whose middle name I know.
Well, that kind of leads us actually into one of the things I wanted to talk about. I talked about, we had an episode on cyborg parenting right after my daughter. And I had a lot of grand plans, things that I was going to help her. It's all out the window, man. I mean, in all, the practical action, the practicality of it just didn't work out. She's way too cute for me to try to enforce anything. She's way too active, and it's like I'm totally on her schedule. I do the things that she wants to do. I'm not doing any practicing with her. I'm not helping her. I mean, every once in a while I can get her to watch a video, that maybe engages a different part of her brain or something, but that lasts 2 minutes, and then we're doing what she wants to do again. So,
any parent, like every girl I dated in high school.
But any parent, I'm sure, would have looked at me and said, that's the way it is. Hey, I just noticed that my audio is way down. You can hear me, right?
I can hear you fine.
Well, of course you can, because you've been talking to me. Hey, we have one viewer. Hey, can you type in the chat if you can hear me?
Unless I'm the viewer, because I've got this pulled up on YouTube.
Well, nobody typed anything, so I think you maybe been. So I just turned it all the way back up. I don't know. Can you see who's watching us?
I can't.
I think our main listener goes by the ID Gunner Pong. If that's him, I don't know who it is that's listening. Can you hear me? Whoever's viewing this, typing in that. Not typing. I hope. Well, the recording will be good.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
All right. So that the whole, and I guess this kind of goes to anything that has to do with training. You have grand ideas, and when it comes down to it, the baby. So
she's in charge.
She is in charge.
Just like my high school girlfriends. Yeah, I've got all these grand ideas for my keyboard. We'll see if 5% of them pan out. If 5% of them pan out, it will be a success.
All right.
If beyond 5%, it's just going to be awesome.
So you had more ideas for other episodes you wanted to talk about. I was all about cryptocurrency blockchains because I'm working with Blockpool, which is the most promising blockchain company that I've seen, and I have a ton of their cryptocurrencies.
Nice.
And then the acetylcholine nootropics. That's my thing.
That's your jam.
I'm always going to keep on pushing on those. That's. Well, we did talk about cryonics, and we talked about cryonics on episode 24, and we also talked about
just recently.
Started with Necro or Neck.
Nectome.
Nectome. So that's kind of
based on the word connectome. Yes, and that's why I wanted to bring that up, because when we first recorded about cryonics, it was basically the act of, what was the name of it? There was a very specific name. Vitrification. Cryonics was the process of vitrification, where they basically freeze you, and you have all these fracturing events throughout the body, and it was far from perfect. And since then, this company Nectome has refined the process. They've reduced the amount of fractures, maybe even eliminated it, and now they can preserve a brain. They've preserved animal brains so far in such a way that every connectome, every neuron is able to be seen later. It shows it as being intact. Of course,
more importantly, the synapses.
Right. Yes.
That's the part that we have not been able to keep to preserve so far.
And so that's pretty awesome. If people listen to our old cryonics episode, hey, we have an update, a very positive sounding update.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely intrigued by this Nectome thing. I mean, they're, I think fairly soon we're going to see the first attempts at an uploaded mind because of them, because of this, because of what they're doing, and that's exciting and a little scary. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, we even had an episode on just the possibilities of what could happen with an uploaded mind, but there's so many episodes where we just start touching on that again because I think that excites us both a great deal.
I think so too.
Now, we had one thing on both of our lists that we wanted to talk about, and that was
episode 37.
Yes, episode 37 was on both of our lists. For those of you who don't remember episode 37 by that name, Tim was absent for the first time, and I decided to record two cyborgs and a microphone with one cyborg. So I played two different parts. If you haven't heard this, listen to 2 minutes of it.
Don't.
That's Happy April Fools. You'll love it. Oops, I said that in the wrong order. I did want to mention episode 37, and then I am making no apologies.
No, it was good. It was good. I wasn't around, so you went on business as usual. You took care of business, Brian, and you got to be respected for that.
It was our foray into fiction, and by our, I mean mine. So, moving on. Episode 27. was about post-human rights. Post-human rights are going to become more important because right now, a corporation can be considered a person in the United States of America. However, if you were brought back from the dead, if you were revived by your brain into a computer, you might have less rights than a corporation, even though you could conceivably think, feel, and act autonomously.
Yeah, that's the thing. And going back to this neck dome, when they freeze their first brain, and they have to euthanize somebody to do it, so it's it's different things are going to have to line up here. Somebody's going to have to be on their deathbed and say, yes, free, preserve my brain. I know it's going to kill me to do this. But then when they spin that up into a computer, there's no laws protecting whatever that is. We don't know that it's going to be the same person. We have no clue. But what if it is? Because then all of a sudden that person is a piece of software running in some supercomputer. It would have to be, because that's a lot of data. A mind is a huge amount of connections.
Yes.
So this is a question that I think we're going to be needing to answer fairly soon. If this company is in any measure successful, that brain that first brain that they freeze, and even if it's partially implemented into software, what is that? Is that a person, and does it have rights? Because they might not like what they spin up,
Yeah.
They
could be
preserve
malicious.
a brain, might spin up something that is less than sane, because we don't know what we're doing with this stuff. And what do you do with that? Can you shut that off now? That's a question.
Yeah.
If it comes up and it's not exactly the person that went under, can you shut that off?
I don't know. There's nothing out there. There's the FDA currently says if you make a genetic modification to your tomato plants and your tomatoes grow to be blue, they count that genetic modification as a food dye. That is so behind the times. That is so inaccurate. We're gonna be struggling to find some kind of precedence for these post-humans. And who knows what it's going to be?
Yeah, I think that just shows how important that topic is. The fact that we're so close to being able to experiment with what used to be a human mind in a computer, and there's no protections there.
Fortunately, lawmakers are always involved and very courteous of their fellow man. So I think we're totally safe. Happy April Fools.
Right. No, I think that's going to be super important, and we're not going to know what to do with it until it happens. And I mean, like I say, what if the first person they spin up is somehow insane?
Is it the person? That is the plot to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah, and
a modern Prometheus.
But maybe in a case like that, I mean, I think technically, if you go with the laws at most of the world, and they spin up somebody's mind in a computer, this neck dome company, that mind is owned by them, technically, by the law. Because there's never been a living entity in software in a computer.
That's also called slavery. That has come up in our past before.
That has. So there's just no laws, and we're full bore steaming towards this. I mean, and that doesn't even bring up artificial intelligence. We're already playing with artificial intelligence. We have intelligences that are smarter than us, and can make judgment calls. We haven't defined that they're alive yet.
Right.
Are they? They might be.
Well, one of the companies that might do it, and that we touched on in episode 29, is a company from Elon Musk, aka Papa Bear. And
let's say that again.
Elon Musk, Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. All right.
I should give a little background of that. My company has sent me to Gigafactory in Reno. That's why I'm out here. And so I'm working at Tesla's Gigafactory, and the people on the line refer to Elon Musk as Papa or Daddy or Papa Bear or something along those lines. So there you go.
Really?
That's the reference. So
You know,
anyone listening who knows that, they already got it.
Well, you know, I want to get him on our show. I mean, he's like one of my
yeah.
favorite people in the entire world. So I'm really working on angles to get him on our show somehow. We'll see if that ever pans out. Maybe he's watching this now. Elon.
Hi.
Elon.
Hi.
Papa.
Oh, let's quit sucking up for a minute.
All right.
Just a minute, though. But Neuralink is the company that wants to use some cutting-edge technology with nano microweaves and be able to receive data from the brain, directly from the brain. And it sounds like it's going to start off as more of a peripheral to your computer, not a way to get your consciousness out. But that is a step that we want to be taking. And it's not fatal. In fact, it's meant to be a rather minor procedure. So that's promising.
It's still very conceptual at this point, though. I mean, he has great ideas. We all know that. I mean, guy's a visionary. But I don't think that the practical. I don't think that we have yet made anything like what his neural lace. And it's a great idea, but I think there's still some work to be done there before we can ever even determine if it's safe.
Right. There's quite a bit of work there, but now we've got some money behind it. Assuming Tesla does okay. They're not doing so great.
Yeah, well, it takes time for stuff like that.
Yeah. Time, money.
Yeah. Well, Elon's ideas have a way of generating enough excitement that people will throw any amount of money into it. And that's great because people, I think he's going to do some really incredible stuff.
Yeah.
So
and if he ever
shows up on this,
he would be Batman if necessary. I think if he needed,
and if he ever showed up on the show, he'd probably get a lot more funding. I'm thinking. I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure he'd probably be able to do a lot more if he just showed up on our show.
I'm sure it will be the tipping point.
Absolutely.
Well,
and that kind of goes. We're talking about post-human rights, and that kind of goes. To the technological singularity, which is still. I think we're still right on track for 2050, approximately 49 to 53 or something like that, where the capability of our computers and technology will be more than our brain. And at that point, we should see solutions and to problems that we don't even realize exist.
Mm-hmm.
Still on track, and I think it's still coming.
Moore's law has been pretty solid.
Not as it's written. I mean, because he was very specific. Moore was really specific into silicon chips. We've hit the cap there. But the essence of Moore's law, that the capability of technology doubles every, I think it's year and a half or something like that, that holds true regardless of what materials you're using for chips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've got hoverboards. We've got flying cars. They're just called helicopters. They're expensive and dangerous for the average person. We're living in the future.
I think so. And I think it's just going to it's getting crazy. I think everybody that I know is at a point where the amount of input, the amount of capability they have is starting to overwhelm them.
Oh, yeah. Like Facebook to me is just too much garbage noise. For the most part, I don't touch this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't know a single person who's not underwater in communications who doesn't have more interest in learning about the things that they're interested in than they can satiate. I mean, there's so much input. There's so much knowledge. There's so much out there for us, so much capability that now we're at a point where we just can't keep up with the amount of things that we could do. So now I think we're stripping down, at least the people I deal with, right? You're starting to pare back the things that you choose to apply your mind to because you can't explore everything anymore. I mean, everything's just out there.
Yeah.
So we're starting, I think to scale back, to reduce the scope of the things that we are conscious of, because the amount of input that's out there is just too much.
Oh, for sure. If I think of all the stuff that I could be doing versus the stuff I am doing, I'm like, I'm happy with the things I'm doing. Even though there's stuff that I would also like to be doing, there's just enough time in the day. Like my keyboard project, man, I love that. I love being able to work on that kind of thing and see it come to fruition, especially so quickly with the manufacturing capabilities, the cheap parts that are available. But yeah, if I had infinite time, I'd also be goofing around with like animation and doing some voice acting for myself. That'd be great.
Just imagine back 100 years ago. I mean, you could have as much interest and desire and drive as somebody now. You did not have the ability to explore anything compared to what we have now. I mean, 100 years ago, you had trouble finding a book on the subject that you wanted to learn about. Now there's just no shortage of any information. It's prolific. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah. 100 years, 200 years ago, I would have probably had a great interest in farming. That would be it.
Right. So
farming and girls.
So the world's changed so much, and it's moving so much faster. Every moment, it's moving faster and faster, and I think we're going to really be challenged to keep up with what's happening. I think it's already starting to happen for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. And the next generation, your daughter, they're gonna step into a whole different speed of the stream of information, and they're gonna have a different take on it, and probably be more able to cope with that.
So have we covered everything on our list? The why and hands, we both had that. And I don't know if that's really worth even mentioning, because why not? I mean, I guess that maybe it is. We should mention it because I cannot think of a rational argument not to.
Anything opposed to enhancing is usually based on like just kind of the ew-ish factor, possibly religious objections, and none of these are bad. If you don't feel like you want to enhance, I haven't met anyone who thinks we should be forcefully upgraded. If there was, I'd probably be very unhappy with that person.
Yeah, I agree. Episode idea: the flat earthers. I'm gonna have trouble staying sane, but I think we should. Anyway, that's for later.
Oh my.
Yeah. I can remain respectful and courteous when I talk about that.
That makes one of us.
Oh man. Okay, so that's for later. All right. So
we are way too rational to talk about that.
Oh my god. I this is what happens when I even try to talk about it.
Thank you for listening. We'd like to invite our listeners to email us at cyborgs@2cyborgs.com. You can also shoot either of us an email at tim@2cyborgs.com or brian@2cyborgs.com.
We are still in the process of updating our site. That's all on me. I'm failing, but it's coming. So check out our new site when I do get it done. Also, you want to make sure you go to our site, 2cyborgs.com, and check out our Cafe Press store. You can get the cool sweatshirt that Brian's wearing or the cool coffee cup that he's drinking from at any time. So this is Tim Shank. I'm not wearing my hoodie right now. I should be. Shameful.
Shameful, Tim. And this is Brian McAvoy. You've been listening to Two Cyborgs and a Microphone, brought to you by a couple cyborgs with awesome coffee mugs.
Like, follow, share, +1, and don't forget to subscribe on any of the popular podcast services, including Google Play Music, iTunes, and Stitcher. Commenting on iTunes is very helpful. So if you have iTunes, go just comment, rate us, star us up, comment on every single episode, even if you haven't listened.
Please do. Yeah, that's almost as valuable to us as cash donations to like Patreon or anything like that. So super helpful and doesn't take anything more than a couple minutes. You can also find us on Twitter at 2cyborgs. So please follow us, retweet anything that we have, and gain popularity.
Yeah, and if you guys are looking, there's a cool video that a friend of both of mine and Brian sent me about a lady who built a second thumb on one of her hands, controlled by her toes. Very cool, kind of pretty cool. Brian, did you see that video?
That's super cool. I give it 3 thumbs up.
All right. Thank you for moving me off of that topic, Brian. I don't know if it makes me wonder if we should talk about that, because
that's what we should have done for April 1st.
I'm willfully ignorant like that. I have opinions.
I am of the opinion that it was some goofy fad started as a joke, and then just too many people started taking it seriously. And then I see news reports of like, we are attending a Flat Earth Society meeting. And I'm like, oh God, they're serious.
Have you seen the videos of the people that believe it? Have you?
Only
just
like one,
man?
I watched it and I was like, nope, can't do it.
I would be challenged not to slap them. I would be challenged not to just shake them. Honestly.
Well, don't count on me to hold you back.
Okay. Well, maybe we should do an episode as a challenge to me to see if I can remain calm.
Who was it that said
Flat Earthers?
The signature of a powerful man or an intelligent man is one who can hold 2 conflicting ideas in his mind and not go insane. That's some famous quote associated with somebody. Maybe this will be a mental exercise for ourselves to make an entire episode where we don't just lose our shit. Yeah,
that would definitely be a challenge. We should. I think we should. I mean, honestly, people need
Halloween
to talk
episode
about this. People need to talk about this, and people need to help these people. These people are sick, honestly, sick, and need help. It's really something that we should do for them. Anyway.
And it's a problem that's all around the world.
Yeah.
I happen to have one sitting around.
All right. Well, this is going to be a long episode. You're going to have a lot to cut out to make this anything short. And we're up to 41 minutes, so I'm going to hit stop. Stop.
Okay.
All right. So I think we just got one very loyal viewer of our live recordings, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Is our viewer still viewing? Or are we still broadcasting?
We're not. We're still broadcasting. I stopped recording. So okay, whoever he or she is still there. So.
I think my computer stopped recording.
Oh no!
I might have to take this from the YouTube video for the audio. Okay. That's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, it's not so loud from here. I mean, that could be my audio settings too.
No, my little. Oh wait, maybe there it is. Let me see.
Do you get a sense of how many minutes you got recorded?
It looks like it only recorded 7 minutes.
Jeez,
that's a problem. So yeah, I'll have to try and nab audio from the YouTube. That sucks.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, I'm gonna shut off the broadcast here. Thank you for listening. I don't know if this is Gunner. You rock.
Thank you.